Afternoon. Yeah. Is this East Lake Academy? Yeah. Is this 8th graders up in here? Yeah. All right, all my 8th graders up in here, shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, listen, you guys.
Tell me about Save the Youth Tour.
Save the Youth Tour, we started this about 2 years ago with the help of Gary Davis from Coca-Cola. They helped fund us, and what we do is we go into areas where our youth are not reaching Christ and they're not getting a positive message. And what we try to do is tell them about staying away from drugs, staying away from the gangs, any negative activity that would cause them to destroy their life. We've got a serious gang problem in the city, and the politicians, the police department, and the media sometimes don't seem to understand how serious this problem is. Just over the past weekend, you had a hijacking, and a man said there were 3 males, and all 3 were wearing red. That is the Bloods. Then you had 2 incidents where people were approached and asked a question, and then they were shot in the leg. This is gang initiation. This is what they do. They do things to get on TV, and if they make it on TV, they end the game.
Come on. Say J-E-S-U-S. Now everybody say
a lot of times people have the attitude, if it's not in my neighborhood or I don't see it, it didn't happen.
Yes, we're real bad about that. And what people don't seem to understand is that it's not going to just stay in the hood. As a matter of fact, it's already come out of the hood. You had some incidents about a year ago out there at Coolidge Park where people were shot. It's not going to stop in the hood. It's just going to continue like cancer. It's just going to keep growing. And that's what we're here to try to stop this thing. It's trying to reach our youth before they get that far.
Great job. The students enjoyed it. The teachers enjoyed it.
Some of our kids get it. Some don't. It just depends on the kid and depends on sometimes their upbringing, sometimes it depends on their home life. They have so much negativity around them that when I heard him on the radio a couple of years ago, I said, I want to get him at our school. And I talked to our principal, Mr. Joins, and I said, we need positive rap. And that's what he, was promoting. And I said, we need that for our kids. And he said, by all means, bring it in. So we brought him here, and last year, we've had many different performances from many different groups, different genres of music, from classical to rap and hip-hop. And this concert last year that they did, the kids were so engrossed in that concert. They paid attention to that more than I have ever seen them. This is my 7th year at East Lake. More than I've ever seen them engrossed in any concert or any performance that we've ever had. So they definitely were paying attention. Even this year, some that were here last year in 6th grade and 7th grade who have seen the performance again as 7th and 8th graders are singing along. And so, yeah, I do think they're learning from and holding on to some of the things that they were exposed to last year.
If one child is straightened out, it's worth it.
It's worth it. I know we're not supposed to promote the church in school, but, you can't deny Jesus, you can't deny God, and when He's a part of your life, you're supposed to share it, and that's what you want to do, and you want to share. And I want our kids to share that with me, and we have other programs too, like the prison prevention ministries. They come in and they help mentor our kids some, but like John and I were talking earlier, we want something that the kids can think about all year long and have somebody to talk to, and we need help with that because we can't do it alone. So
I represent Christ. He's been the realest thing in my life. He's been the best friend that I ever had. I had some other friends, thought they was real, it turned out to be fake. I had some friends that stab me in the back, talk about, smile in your face 1 minute, talk about you behind your back, right? Well, is there anybody that knows that when you find a friend in Jesus Christ, you find a friend that will never turn his back on you, that will never let you down, that will never disappoint you?
How do you feel the Save the Youth Tour does?
I think it's doing a good job. The whole purpose of it is to expose kids and the young people to some positive things, and just share with them some of the testimonies of the people who are coming to present to them through music, and just directly speaking to them and engaging them and addressing them and letting them know about some of the things that we survived and some of the negative influences that was around us, but God brought us out of it. So the same God that did it for us will do it for them too. So that's the biggest thing about what we do.
I heard you say something up on stage today that I talked to a local minister. He said to his congregation, don't depend on me. He said, I'll let you down but he said, God will never let you down.
Absolutely.
And that's a lot of what you just said.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I thank God that he places people in our lives. He places parents in our lives and friends in our lives and people that care about us. But man is fallible. And the biggest thing that we can share with these kids is to depend on God. God is the one that could turn around their situations, regardless of what side of the tracks they grew up on, regardless to their ethnicity, regardless of what language they speak, what their skin complexion is. God is the one to depend on. And he could change their situation around, just like we depended on him and we survived, and he blessed us even when we didn't know how to trust God, but he still had his hand on us the whole time. So the biggest thing is developing a relationship with him, and if we could share something with even with one young person in there, how to depend on God, we've done our job today. When I see God moving and I see the effect that it's having on young people, and I see them getting it, you know, when I see light bulbs going off, I see them being engaged and them being reached, I can't help but to get excited, because I know these kids are at that age right now where a lot of society is counting them off and dismissing them as statistics. And so when I see them getting reached and when I see them shouting for God, even if we're just planting a seed, I can't help but to get excited about that, because I know that God, you know, like the Bible says, one plants, one waters, but God gives the increase. And so I just really feel and believe that all the potential that's in them, that they were created to do, that they're going to realize that potential and be everything that God made them to be.
Holy hip-hop is the opposite of hip-hop. Holy hip-hop is hip-hop with God in it, and it's a positive message. They say that gangster rap is destroying our youth, so if gangster rap is destroying our youth, why can't holy hip-hop heal our youth?
But it gets their attention, and that's what's important.
Well, that's what reaches the youth now. You got to go to them with what they're listening to. They're not listening to old traditional gospel hymns like they used to in our days and time. What they listen to now is hip-hop, and that's how you got to go after them. I'm going to give you an example. The very first show we did on the Save the Youth Tour was at East Lake Academy, and we ran into a 9-year-old kid that was already drinking and smoking weed and running guns and drugs for the game. And that day, after we got through with our program, that youth got up and said that he had been saved. And the people at the Salvation Army said they had been trying to reach this youth forever. This is our second trip here at the school, but what happens in the time between that? And what we're trying to do is set up some type of program that we can come back. I like to get corporate sponsors to help us out, like Coca-Cola's helping us out, so we can give away free CDs, so that we can set up workshops and do recordings with the youth, get them involved in acting. I mean, you got some of the biggest people in entertainment that come from Chattanooga, Tennessee. You got Mr. Raymond, he's one of the biggest artists in R&B, and then you got Samuel L. Jackson. He's the highest paid movie star there is. So if they can do it, why can't we have other youth in this city do it?
Yeah.